Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Community Reports on Channels Television. I'm Victoria Ido. On the show today, I want to take you down memory lane to some of our interesting stories, some of the stories that caught your fancy in the past year. I'm Victoria Ido. Enjoy the show. "14 days and counting. Everyone has been mandated to stay at home. As the days progress, there have been a reduction in the number of people who observe the lockdown directive. A handful of people are seen at bus stops. More cars are seen on the road. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, has warned Nigerians that the nation is at war with an unseen but very potent enemy.
Coronavirus is real and it's dangerous. Let me appeal to Lagosians, indeed to all Nigerians, to play our role in defeating this pandemic. To win the war, we must abide by instructions to stay at home, maintain social distancing, personal hygiene, and report all suspected cases to the designated health authority.
The stay-at-home directive still holds.
Whoa! Be careful!
Over the past week, we asked some of our friends to send in video recordings of themselves with their phones on how they're coping with the stay-home directive. And we got some very creative ones.
Hello. You see, this lockdown is really affecting somebody's child, understand? And it so much hurt me because somebody cannot walk, cannot do any work, cannot go for show, cannot perform. And this translates to not able to make money, understand? And that's not good, that's not nice, because money is essential in life. This lockdown also means that I'm in the house. Somebody cannot go to clubhouse. At least on Friday night like this, I'm feeling happy. Okay, I want to dance to music. What can I do with myself? I just stay in the room and play music. This lockdown is a difficult time. It's a very difficult time. We have tried so much to be creative on how we can enjoy ourselves. After you watch film, you play game, you eat, you sleep, you start again, watch film, play game, eat and sleep. This lockdown is a boring times, but at least it's compulsory for everybody to stay in the house, so that we can all feel safe, we can all be happy. And at the end of the day, we shall all conquer this virus. I'm enjoying myself in isolation, to be frank, even though sometimes I'm feeling boring. But it's a nice, a long time for me to reflect, think about my life.
I know say God really did our back like watch back, so you know go worse pass as he did. But the gift in this pandemic, now say for my house as we did like this, so now the bond. Because of the work what they do, you know the way I they travel every 2 minutes. My husband said will be banker. So early morning I go come out, go come for night. You know, children not the too serious. You know, but now we day house for over 2 weeks now. We day house, we pray together, read books, football, dance together. You know, we just did the bond.
It's complete lockdown in Lagos, Nigeria, where I live, because of the COVID-19 pandemic around the world. So the only thing somebody can do right now inside this lockdown is to make sure you gainfully employ yourself. Some people that can work from home and work continue, good for them. Some of us, it's not like that. Like for Ghana, mechanic, rewire. The only people that are allowed to go around is hospital people, health worker, police, journalists, and some other people like that. The rest of us now we're at home. But the thing is now that let's not use all this time to now stay at home and say the only thing we do is just to flamboyant our time away and gallivant our opportunity. Because like you're a student now, head would have gathered dust and cobweb by the time you come back to school. All this lockdown now, they didn't lock your brain. Read book when you're at home.
looking round, what you see are handmade furniture made from cane wood. Usually, this cane wood are delivered from Delta States, Port Harcourt, and sometimes Edo State, and they're distributed amongst the craftsmen here. On this episode of the show, like you have seen, we will be focusing on the cane village in Mende. Now, this is located under the Ojota Link Bridge in Maryland, Lagos State. Now, this area over the years has been known for a place whereby you find handmade furniture and household items like chairs, tables, baskets, flower vases, and lots more. And that's our focus on this week's episode of the show. Stay with me. Maryland in Lagos, Nigeria is known to be one of the central points that share boundary with Ikeja, the state capital, with good access roads to the Third Mainland Bridge, Ikorodu Road, Lagos Island, and Ikeja itself. Maryland is home to Ikeja Cantonment with a few sub-estates located within the axis. Also located in Maryland, Mende, under the Ojota Link Bridge, is the popular cane village. Here, a variety of handcrafted chairs, tables, baskets, flower vases, hampers, marks are made. The history of the cane village dates back to 1946.
This business has been existing in, let's say, about 40-something years now. That was started 1946. That's where this business started. And the man that started this work, the name of that man was Mr. Otomi, Green Otomi.
These cane woods here are products of wood processed from timber trees. The cane available are actually an organic, unmedicated materials. It is the outer part of the rattan tree which grows like a vine in thick, windy strands, which can be found in areas along the coastlines and riverine areas.
The processing, we have to get this material, although this raw material, which is the cane, we don't get cane here. We only get the cane from the Riverine area, places like Port Harcourt, Bayelsa, then Edo State, then Delta State.
Nigeria blessed with a lot of creatives and talented people. They get these woods from these areas and turn it into perfectly crafted furnitures.
When you buy material, you will just look, okay, this material we use for so thin, or this one I will use for so thin. After you decide, then you will start work. You must decide before you start work. You can't just start to work like that.
Splitting, he says, is where the work really begins. But before he arrives at that point, he has to scrape.
After I scrape this edge, because this first place I'm scraping, when I will sit down, this is the first place I will hold, which I will be scraping it, so I will not be turning again.
This is what becomes of the cane after it's been split. Now the second phase starts. Depending on what is being made, a further split can be done. The cane, which is split into 4 parts, one of which is the back cane, and that is used to make the chair.
We use our cane. We scrape the cane into white color. So when we scrape it, we now tear it into 4 parts. The 4 parts, we remove the one, we call the one inner cane, which is the waste product. Then the back cane, we use the back cane to weave chair, any kind of chair.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of Community Reports on Channels Television. On this episode of the show, as you can see, we're on the high sea And I can't tell you, oh my God, my heart is in my mouth right now. And that's because we're focusing on the fishing community in Makoko. It's a very lucrative business for this set of people. And as you know, Makoko is on the coast of the mainland of Lagos. That's just on the other side of the third mainland bridge. Welcome to the show. I'm Victoria Ido. Please do enjoy. The fishing community in Makoko are made up of able-bodied men who mostly go out into the high sea, some for some days, others a few hours, some the whole day, depending on the style or method of fishing that will bring home the spoil. The women, on the other hand, are always on hand to buy the fishes off them and then resell. We'll refer to this later, but for now let's focus on the method of fishing. For educational purposes, there are several types of fishing techniques, like nodling, flounder tampering, spear fishing, angling, fly fishing, bottom fishing, ice fishing, and so many more. These methods are practiced in different parts of the world. Here in Makoko, the major ones we came across during our foray into the sea were netting. This requires the use of a fishing net. In this case, the net is cast. There are also the use of metal hooks suspended by long threads. The fisherman puts a bait which would be edible to attract the fish.
Yeah, can we go?
This method is usually the longest and the slowest, as you can only catch one fish at a time. Trapping is another popular method carried out by fishermen in Makoko. We travel far into the sea and we meet 63-year-old Shangotunde. He arrived from Badagry several years ago. 63-year-old Shangotunde catches his fish through the trapping method. In this process, the fishing is done with traps. Basket wire fish traps are woven from branches and made so a fish can enter into it but cannot exit.
From
this point, you can see a big net with sticks standing in the water. The branches are called garden trees. We cut and put them in the sea. When the leaves fall off, of course, into the sea, the fishes perceive it and go for them. When there are a number of them there, we set the net and start removing the tree branches. As that is done, the fisherman gradually moves the net till all the fishes are trapped. Look at the small net on that side. There are some fishes in it. They will continue the process till they are done, by which time the fish that is caught is enough to fill 2 boats.
This job requires that heavy-duty men and a young boy versed in the craft work in sync. are in Shomolu local government area of Lagos State, and we are standing right now on Akeju Street. Akeju Street is one of the busiest streets in Shomolu because it has a lot of printing press situated here. Shomolu, situated in the eastern part of Lagos, is known not for so many things, but one thing strikes out when we talk about Shomolu, which is printing. The history of Shomolu dates back to 1834.
The community was established in 1834. And it was our forefathers that established, they were the first settlers here.
Shomolu, as at that time, used to be really big. That's why some more local governments were cut out of it.
Then, Shomolu was under Mushi local government. But during to the advent of growth, it was divided into two.
Shomolu is quite big enough to house 7 markets. Another notable place is a playground where children take time to enjoy their afternoon playing soccer.
Yeah.
Books are a product of work done by publishers who take time out to read and write.
To write a book, I believe you must have a passion for it. To me, normally, reading, to me, is like playing football, or it's like resting. It's something I enjoy so much. Long before now, like 4 or 5 years ago, Sundays, I still come here to come and read and to write.
And that's where Shomolu printing comes in. Printing in Shomolu started several years ago, and over the years has been a source of employment to many.
Well, when you look at the printing industry, first and foremost, it's the second highest employer of labor in Nigeria. So money aside, it's helped to employ people, a lot of people. You could see a small shop with employing 5 to 10 people, and we have millions of that.
Over the years, families have grown into this business, fathers teaching sons, mothers teaching daughters. It usually is a family business.
I've been in this printing line since I was born. It's my daddy work. From when I'm in secondary school, I've been doing printing. But now this is Shomolu, and I work in Shomolu permanently. I've traveled to Abuja, Port Harcourt, like Median South. I work Median South, House of Expression, etc. But right now, in the Shomolu, I do operate cutting machine called Polar.
On that day, Lagos State was held spellbound by rampaging youths in the days after the End SARS protest, leaving many parts of the state with burnt buildings, looted shops and destroyed properties. For several hours, the hoodlums carried out attacks in different parts of the state and around the country, undisturbed by security agents. By Tuesday and Wednesday, not less than 27 buildings, including police stations, media houses, government secretariats and the courts were attacked and left in ruins. While taking records of the properties destroyed by the arsonist, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State Governor, said the level of destruction in the state can be compared to a war zone.
Seeing the amount of destruction on private properties, is enormous. Is enormous, you know. So I think it's a conversation that we need to take forward, you know, and we need to think through ourselves, you know. We're just bleeding out of a budgetary, you know, plan. Lagos had to reduce its budget this year, for example. There are no indications of any great, IGL next year, you know, because of the pandemic. Businesses are just trying to come back, right? So where's the money going to come from? I don't have answers yet.
In what seemed like a coordinated attacks, rampaging youths in Lagos State continue their activities by going into personal-owned shops, destroying and carting away with goods and products. In Adeniro Ogunsoya ShopRite Mall, every single shop in use was looted and destroyed. The burgle started at about 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning.
I heard that this place was being vandalized or looted or burgled around 1 a.m. because someone in the platform, someone began to send a message that the help is needed at Adeniro Ogunsoya, and you know what it means. For instance, for those of us who are in the Apple retail franchise business, you know that one iPhone is over 500,000, and now this is the season we stock up because we only have a small gap between November and December, Black Friday sales and the rest of the things. So we just started bringing, and like a lot of, after the coronavirus, you know, Apple released some new MacBook Pros, so we just imported a lot of them and tried to stock up to avoid the end of the year rush. So virtually, it was not a funny experience that night. Two things: my product and that of our customers that we also have.
109 active shops in the mall looted, glasses broken, goods stolen. Looking at this footage, you would wonder whether this was a war zone.
I started to pray, and I was hoping that they wouldn't come to my shop this time around, simply because what I sell is plus size clothing, and I was wondering what the value of what I sell would be to them. And I was just thinking and praying at the same time and hoping. And then on the Saturday, we were allowed to, the incident happened on Wednesday. On the Saturday, when we were eventually allowed to come into the shop, and I saw the amount of damage that was done in this mall. In fact, that day I almost passed out because I was thinking to myself, where would I really start from?
Also among the shops burgled is Blooming Dames, an outfit that prides itself as selling high-quality end fashion for less.
I started Blooming Dames actually way back in England, just as a hobby. I was like a personal shopper to women around Muswell Hill, and I officially opened Blooming Dames store in Nigeria in 2005. We started out with one store. Now we have a couple. We have here in Surulere and we have in Lekki.
Seeing the extent of the damage done, a lot of pain and confusion is felt, especially with the knowledge that security operatives could do nothing.
The criminals are not interested in protest. They go to the malls. Those are the targets. And you did not even think of securing the malls. You know where that's where they go to. That's their number one target.
And that's a wrap for us on the show today. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed any part of it or you want to catch our old stories, you can check it on our YouTube channel. You can also send your comments to the social media handles showing on your screen. Thank you to everyone who has stayed with us through the past year and will stay with us through this new year. I'm Victoria Ido. Bye for now.